Welcome to the Joy of Being You podcast. I'm Ava Nagy, a positive psychology coach. I created this space for real conversations about resilience and transformation to inspire you on your journey. In each episode, I sit down with women who have faced life's toughest challenges and came out on the other side stronger, wiser, and more aligned with themselves. Their stories aren't just inspiring, they are proof that change is possible no matter where you are on your path. So if you're looking for honest, heartfelt stories and insights to help you move forward, you're in the right place. Make sure to subscribe so you won't miss an episode. Let's begin. Today, I'm so excited to introduce my guest, Jackie Cruz. She has been a hairdresser for over 25 years and is now running her third salon in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. As the first female entrepreneur in her family, she has built a business that's about more than just hair. It's a space where beauty meets purpose. In 2012, Jackie became a health coach driven by her passion for helping women feel their best inside and out. But her journey took an unexpected turn when she was diagnosed with breast cancer. Facing her challenges deepened her commitment to wellness, not just for herself, but for the women she helps. Jackie's story is all about resilience, reinvention, and the power of creating a life with meaning. I can't wait for you to hear her wisdom and experience. Let's dive in. Hi, Jackie. It is so good to see you. Yay. It's been such a long time.
It's been a long time. And here we are again, Ava. Like my eyes are looking at you again.
Yeah. So just so the audience knows a little bit of a background between me and Jackie. We know each other for a long time. What was the year that we met, Jackie? Was it in 2000?
Probably like 2000, I'm going to say 13, 14?
13, 14. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. And it ties into the story. That's why I wanted to mention that too, because when we met that you were my hairdresser. I moved into a neighborhood and in Weehawken, and yes, in New Jersey, and somebody recommended you, and I started going to you and your salon. And actually, I kept going to that salon up until I moved out of New Jersey, which was very recent. And you were my hairdresser, but that wasn't the only thing that you were. We started connecting, and I know at that time, besides running a salon, you also were really into health and wellness, and you were completing your, I think that it was it the integrated nutrition course or
integrated nutrition? Yes, as a health coach.
Yes. So you were a health coach, and then something life-changing happened to you. And that's when you kind of packed up and then you just start walking your own journey. So can you tell us a little bit about what was happening to you at that time?
Yeah, well, I was at the salon where we met. In my salon, I always wanted to have a salon that has about beauty and wellness. Great hair care. We always surrounded ourselves with like magazines. I always try to serve things that were on a healthier base. But a lot of it was because I thought some of my clients that were going through cancer, I wanted to give them a platform where they could come to a salon that would really cater to them, right? Never knowing that I was going to be the one that ended up with the cancer myself. I became a health coach in 2012 through integrative nutrition. And I wanted to incorporate that wellness into my salon. And a lot of what I was learning was about healthier eating and how to help clients build a healthier lifestyle. And I wanted to incorporate it with hair so that we could take really good care of our hair as well as our body and grow older gracefully. And try to eat foods that were very cancer preventative, right? So I learned a lot, and I learned enough that I could share. But I never realized that what I was learning was actually going to be, I was going to apply it to myself.
Yeah.
Because I was learning it to share it with someone else. I was volunteering at cancer hospitals for Beth Israel, not Mount Sinai, but Beth Israel. There were a couple of other hospitals that I was volunteering as an American, for the American Cancer Society. And there we would go to a classroom. And unfortunately, it was a classroom that was, filled with students, people going through cancer. And it was a real sweet and basic how to paint your eyebrow, how to put a little eyeliner, wear a wig, wear a scarf, and we would nourish ourselves during the process. And everything I was teaching them, I ended up learning to do for myself when I became a cancer patient at Hackensack Hospital in New Jersey.
Yeah, so that was around the time, a little bit after we met, and we were thinking about doing some stuff in your salon together because I was a wellness coach and I was a personal trainer, yoga instructor.
That's right.
So, and it was a very sudden change for you. And I remember at that time that, the way I remember is that you just became really quiet and I didn't really know what was happening. So can you tell us a little bit about, when you got to know that you had cancer, well, what type of cancer you had and what was going on at that time?
I was overwhelmed, Ava, because I had owned my salon. That was my second salon. This one here is actually my third. That was my second salon. I had taken it on. It was another big responsibility. When I found out that I had cancer, it completely turned my world around. And how I found out that I got cancer was because I was going to go for a boob job. I thought, I'll be 45, I'll block them up and I'll give myself a little lift. Sure enough, the lady that I went to, she was the one that found it. So when I told her where I had gone and before you can go see this person, you have to have a mammogram. My mammogram came out benign. So I was very lucky to go see about this boob job. Needless to say, when she finds it, I was stage 3 breast cancer on my right side, which literally has like 1 foot in the grave, and stage 1 on my left that we found out later down the road. We didn't know that both breasts were infected. So it was overwhelming. I had a sister that I lost. She was 18 years old with leukemia. And I remember her having a breast removed. She was very, very young. The scar was like from the center of her chest to the center of her back. And my mother is a breast cancer survivor. She has 1 mastectomy. So I just kept thinking about everything that was leading up to me now having cancer. And I said, okay, I didn't understand. I didn't know how to wrap it around my head because of course the only thing you think about is that you're dying. And I was like, oh my God, what does this mean? So the first thing I had to do was get myself to a doctor at Hackensack Hospital. I went with my sister and I went with my sister because you have to go with someone because you can't hear and think and speak at once. It can only one or the other can happen. I'm so numb. And in my numbness, there's a vibration of fear there's just this vibration that the entire body, I'm trying to make sense of it. It's almost like my body is going through its own little convulsion of the information that I'm receiving. And then it was breaking it down in steps. Who's first? I got to tell my family first, my husband, my sons, my business. What am I doing with my business? Well, what am I doing with my business? Then myself, I started cutting my hair shorter. So I knew clients they thought I was trying to do stylish things. So I hadn't said anything to anyone until I really knew what my steps were. But one of the things that I knew in my spirit, my whole heart and my spirit, Ava, I knew I had to step away completely. I couldn't half-ass it. I couldn't go to work in the morning and we'll take care of myself later. It was all or nothing.
Yeah. So how did that feel? I mean, that must have been really, really difficult. I know that, if I look at myself, I'm a survival, a business owner, very responsible, and I know you for the same things. And then now here you are in a situation that's basically life-threatening, and you have to make really, really big decisions. These are huge decisions. I mean, making that decision that you're going to walk away from your business. Not a lot of people are able to make that. Can you tell me a little bit about that? Because I think that's a very important decision that you made for yourself.
once I realized what I was facing, once I realized that what I was going to go through was going to be, when it was broken down to me, the chemotherapy, the radiation, once I realized what I was going to be dealing with, there was no way I could fit anything other than taking care. Me, my body had to be taken care of.
Uh-huh.
There was no way that I could balance the two out. And emotionally, I felt like a failure. Part of me was like, oh my God, did I fail my business? Did I fail my business? But I had built such a beautiful business there that I was able to sell it to one of the girls that was with me. And she's still there, hence speaking, and doing really well because it was such a solid foundation.
Yeah.
But there was also a part of me, Ava, that knew that I had to move on. It was time to let go. And the part of me that was very responsible, and I have to, there's a fine line between being very responsible and controlling.
I put my hands up for that.
I paused because I have
You were
I
waiting
think
for it.
it sounds nicer. It sounds nicer when I say I'm very responsible, but in reality, I like to control a lot. I think it's just my mechanics of, as a child, I realized that I was put in position as a child to control situations that were way out of my control.
Yeah.
And I realized that a lot of it is just that if I do it myself, I think it's going to just get done and I don't have to worry about it.
But I also think that it's survival, right? So this is how
survival.
this is basically, and then you wrote it back from your past and from your childhood. Like you learn the behavior there and you learn the way to survive and live. And which is what you didn't really have a choice, to make a choice if you should do it or not do it. You have to do it. That's it. So I think that these are kind of like really deeply ingrained patterns, how we approach life and everything else,
Yeah.
So I mean that's a really big one. That's
Yeah.
a huge. So how did you come to that? Because I think it's really hard sometimes to break through those survival patterns and see yourself and say, okay, I need to walk away from this because if I don't walk away from this, I don't have a chance. That's what I'm hearing, and please correct me if it's wrong. But how did you become aware of that pattern, and how hard was it for you to walk away from it?
It wasn't as hard when I made the decision because it really was about life and death. I knew that if I pushed the envelope and stayed in a place that did not allow me to heal, it was going to kill me. And part of my stress, responsibility, controls were going to consume any little bit of energy that I could have applied to nourishing. So I had to really make the decision and say wholeheartedly, if I do it like this, I'm going to get this outcome. I can see it. If I let go and let it be, just walk away and move on to take care of myself, there's long-term vision there. I couldn't see long-term vision with the other.
Yeah.
And I really closed my eyes and meditated on that. And I really said, if I stay here and do this, where do I see myself?
Wow.
And the tunnel there was no light at the end of that tunnel.
Wow.
But when I closed my eyes and I said, okay, if I do it this way, which means letting it go, taking it back, I did what I had to do for my community when I was there. I loved all my clients, and I got a lot of love back from my clients.
And they loved you too, yeah.
I know, and a lot of what I did, and I'm doing it here now as I speak because it's part of my nature. I can't, I'm always thinking of my girls. Okay, if I got to do this, I know my girls would love this. I know, you know what, I got to have this for my girls here. My girls, always meaning my clients. But I develop a relationship with my clients because I want to take care of them, and if I don't take care of myself, how am I going to move forward? So when I look back, Ava, and I think about when I finally made the decision, it's time to let everybody know what's going on at the salon. It's time to say, guys, I'm going to put the salon up in the market, and it's time to move on. I can't look back anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, this was not just a decision for you that you are giving up your business. You made a decision in between, okay, am I going to play the same survival game that I've played before that got me here? Or I'm going to change, because if I stay in this game, that's not going to have a good, positive ending. And the only way that I have a chance is kind of like just quit the game and start something new and start something fresh.
And I
So,
knew it. I knew it, Ava.
yeah,
Also, my spirit, my core knew there was
your
something,
intuition.
and
Yeah,
my intuition was telling me to move on, to go back.
yeah.
Don't look back. I did what I had to do. I did what I had to do, and I
And
had to move on.
and you didn't make the choice with fear. So like what I want to point out, that your survival was the responsibility and having that business, and then now your survival became moving away from that. So that's a really big flip. And the other thing that I'm hearing that I want to highlight here is that you were listening to that inner voice. You didn't let fear drive your decisions, like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen financially? And I'm sure you figured that out. I don't know if you want to go into that, because there are obviously consequences of every single decision. There are pros and cons, right? So a lot of times maybe people would stay working because they need to survive. I need this money. What would you tell them?
Tell them to write everything down,
Mm-hmm.
literally, as
All pros and cons, yeah.
pros and cons. There's one question that we can ask ourselves: what am I going to do? Pro answers to that question and con answers to that question. It's only one question. What am I going to do? If I leave, if I sell, if I move, where am I going? All the pros would be answered. By moving, I start fresh, I release, I do this, I'll have enough, I can sell. I sold my business, which helped me survive those 2 years that I was completely vacant. I don't know where my body was. Only my husband can tell me sometimes where I was, because I don't even remember those 2 years. Other than when I would see myself in the mirror and looking at my, like, literally pupil to pupil. That was just such a different person. I don't know who that was, but again, inside my soul, I knew that I was going to be okay. I don't know why I was going through that, but whatever it was, whoever that was, they came, it was present, allowing me to heal so that now I can be present to share it. But you ask yourself, and you have to, you will be honest when you see that there's a part of you that could very well not make it through this journey, because that's a true fact. As scary, as horrible as that may seem, it just becomes more real when you're like, oh shit, there could be a possibility that I don't make it through this. Then what?
Yeah.
So the answers to your questions become really honest. Really honest. Having become a health coach, Ava, a cancer coach, what helped with that is that when you can coach someone, and really what you're doing is talking to them on a woman-to-woman basis, like real hardcore conversations. A lot of the women talk to a coach more openly than to even a family member, because we want to put up that strong survival. I'm okay. It's okay. I don't want you to worry about me. I don't want you to be. That's not the case when you talk to a coach. With the coach, you're like, I'm scared shit. I don't even know. I don't dare cry in front of my family, but I want to cry. I'm scared. Or I don't know. I didn't realize, like, am I going to botch my boobs? Do I want them to be reconstructed? So much goes into your mind. But when you have someone that you can talk to, you can answer those questions really wholeheartedly, honestly.
Did you have somebody who helped you through this, or
I did not.
Do you just coach yourself through it with the coaching experience you had?
Yeah, I was spiritually being coached. Becoming a coach, I was spiritually being coached, because a lot of the information that I was learning, sharing, teaching, I knew, oh, this is what I have to do. Okay, well, I thought I was going to wear a wig. I tried it on, and I always tell everybody, I flung that thing like a dead raccoon. I couldn't stand the way it felt on my head. I was like, you know what? I wore my bald very proudly. I wore my
Just a
balls.
headset. I'm sorry. I'm laughing. I love the raccoon example.
Oh, honey, I flung that thing like a dead raccoon. Ugh, it was horrible. But not to say, my clients, if you want to wear a wig, if that's 100%, right? That's being a hairdresser. Actually, that gives me the opportunity to help there for the client. But I think that I didn't have a coach, and I know what having a coach means. So it puts me in a position to help other women that
Sure.
if I can help coach them through their journey. And what does that even mean? It means that you have someone that you can talk to because I've been through the journey. Now, can I talk to someone that's had ovarian cancer? Sure, I can talk to you, but I didn't have ovarian cancer. I had breast cancer.
Yeah, the one thing that you also said that rings true to me as well is, I didn't have a lot of, I had a lot of support, like human support, like friends and coaches and healers. I'm not saying that I didn't, like, I don't want to take away from the people who were really there for me. But at the same time, I had a lot of spiritual help. I had a lot of intuitive guidance, I really had to tune into that guidance to hear it and also have the courage to follow it. That takes a lot of courage, because sometimes that guidance goes against a lot of the things that people tell you, doctors tell you, therapists tell you, friends tell you, family tells you also. So um
A lot of support too with my family, my friends, my sister, my brother, my sons, my nieces. I had a lot of support. I had a lot of my church group, my friends, my girls from my church group, the prayers, the church itself. Like, I mean, I was surrounded by prayers, honey, and I knew that I knew in my soul I was going to be okay. I mean, there's no guarantee to nothing, but meaning, like, I don't know. There was a part of me that knew I was going to get through this hurdle. But I also I trust my spiritual guide.
uh,
I don't know, ever since I was a child, a kid, and I'm reading a particular book that's making me revisit some things that sometimes I'm like, oh my God, as a child, I didn't realize I've been surviving since I was a kid. Here in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, I definitely survived Williamsburg, Brooklyn. But I've always had that intuitive thing, whether it's a little spiritual, psychic-y, whatever you want to give it a word, that gut feeling that says, don't go there, go here, or get out of there. Don't get out of there. And I've trusted that little voice. And the older I get, I actually have I have a relationship with my internal voice. I feel it strongly and I hear it very clearly now. So when I hear that clarity in that gut, there's no questioning it. It's the direction I'm going in.
do you think that
being
that's
here.
Yeah, do you think that that's what helped you through the difficult times? I mean, you did have to make a lot of very difficult decisions, not just regarding your business, which was a huge one, and it was a very symbolic one, but also with your health and the approach that you were taking through, to your healing. I mean, you had to go through operations and lots of changes in your body. Do you wanna talk about those a little bit?
Sure. My God, the operations at the moment, all you're listening to is mastectomy. There's no real conversation. I have to say that if I had to do one thing over again, I definitely would have been a little bit more intentional with my surgeon, because she was very matter of fact about everything. And we're not going to talk about that right now. We're only going to do the infected area. We're not going to save anything. We just have to move forward. It was so A, B, C, D. Hey, just a little extra, cream cheese on that, whatever. That's just so bland,
Objective. Yeah, objective.
She's a woman and the head surgeon of the hospital. So you would think that she would have a little more sensitivity, desensitized. And I allowed for her to make decisions for me that probably didn't have to go to the extreme, but I was scared. I thought, she's the surgeon, so she obviously knows what's going on. I wanted a double mastectomy because my soul told me that I should have gotten rid of both my breasts. but she decided to only deal with the infected area. I'm not going to deal, only to then have to remove my second breast after a year later, because then we found out that I had cancer cells on my other.
So basically, you had to go through two surgeries. So one time, so you didn't listen to your intuition that time. Your intuition
that is correct. That is correct. And then you had
to go through.
That is correct. And I don't know that today, with all the advances, that I probably needed to have had like such a severe, maybe one full mastectomy, maybe not necessarily the other. Having those consultations, clear consultations, are very important. And when you're not comfortable with the surgeon that you're with, if your spirit and your heart and your body are not in alignment with this person in front of you, if one of those aligned parts of you are searching for something other answers, that's the one you need to listen to.
That's a really good advice. Yeah.
Right? My body was sitting at that table. My spirit was flying all over the place because I was not comfortable in that room with her. My energy was off because I was trying to make sense of what she was saying, even though it was going against what I was feeling. So if your spirit, body, and are not in alignment with the person you're with, listen to that. That's a sign that you need more information from someone else that will make you feel aligned. Because losing your breast is a huge deal.
Yeah, that's a really important advice. I think that it's a big decision. So how did that affect you, and how does it affect you today?
At the beginning, when my breasts were removed, I wasn't thinking about the cosmetic part of it. I was just thinking about, we finally got rid of the cancer. We got rid of the cancer. That's all I kept thinking about. And as time moved on and the healing really started to begin, I was getting back to my normal self. I was gaining my weight. I was getting my hair back. I'm starting to feel like I was back to my normal self, going to yoga and all that. Then I started realizing, and it was during my showers, that I really started to say, oh my God, this void and this numbness, right? Because there's no sensation. I don't have any sensation till almost to this. Like right there, I can start actually feeling stuff. But there's this numbness. And then the no nipples was a constant reminder of the unbalance. I felt unbalanced. I didn't feel whole. I didn't want to be vain, but I kept thinking, gosh, like there's this void. There's sexually, femininity, maternally, there's this void and it's never coming back. Then I started to feel a little sense of mourning. I lost something really important to me, more important than I had ever really valued it for what it was.
Yeah.
You know, we all love our boobs, but I don't know. It's like we don't really think about it until you stop thinking about it. But, you know, the sensations of your nipples, your voluptuousness, if you're full, small, deep, whatever the size of your breast, but there's a balance that they bring to the table.
Yeah.
And I was not feeling balanced. I was feeling very unbalanced and out of balance.
That you said that there was a void. You felt unbalanced, but what was like really deep down?
Yeah, my femininity, Ava. I felt I wasn't feeling feminine. Not physically, internally. There was this void. I was not feeling feminine.
Wow.
And it's very connected to your sexuality, to your femininity, to your being sexual, sexy.
It's your identity too.
Identity, right? So there's this space, right? There's this space that's just not there anymore. And we can't pretend that we don't know that it's not there because it's very present.
And it's present all the time. It's a constant reminder every single day.
It's a constant reminder every single day.
So what do you do with that? Like you're in the midst of this and it's a decision that you have to make every single day. As you said that it's there all the time. What do you do to feel that avoid and to feel whole again?
That's an excellent, excellent question, because it's a question you answer every single day from a new place. What do I mean by that? I wrote an article, which I'm going to send to you, called What Cancer Did Not Take.
Mm.
It took a part
Tell
of
me
me.
a little bit about that. I think that that's really, really important.
Yeah. Well, that's where I go to. That's how I answer my questions on a daily basis, because the answer is different every single day. Some days it's like when you mourn something, you don't mourn it the same way every single day. Some days you can talk about it and not get emotional. And sometimes when you talk about something that you mourn, you get very emotional. It goes by, how you feel. But to answer your question, Ava, when I wrote the article, What Cancer Did Not Take, that's how I balance myself out on a daily basis, because I think about everything else that God has given me that still works. My two eyeballs, my ears, my hands, which thank God I still, this is my livelihood right here. I paint or everything else that comes along with it. Yes, I do not have a part of my body. Yes. But of the 100% of my body, I'm going to give each move 10%. I'm missing 20%. Okay. I'm going to focus on my 80%.
That's a really important message. I've learned that in my life in a different way and through different lessons. My story is that I constantly try to fix the past, fix myself, heal myself. Well, I finally turned my head towards what I have instead of what I didn't have. The glass was already full. What I hear you say is turn your head towards what's already full. And that takes, as you said, practice every single day. It's not a decision that you're making one time. You got to make that decision every single day, every single
day.
moment. I think that's a really, really, really important message.
That's my survival mode. That's where I go. I know I will never, ever have my original breasts. I had cosmetic surgery in one side, but I also had they took slabs from the back of my thighs and they created a boob. So both boobs are a little different. When I had my nipples tattooed, that actually brought me some joy because it was visual balance for me.
And that's important for you. Yeah.
Very important, right? I needed, yes, I had my breast and the stars, whatever. I didn't even care about that anymore, but I was missing the nipple, the color, the balance, the shape. It just kind of did that. So, and why did it take me 4 years to get my nipples tattooed? Like that, I don't know why. I don't know why I was procrastinating a little bit. Part of me was like, well, what's the purpose? And the part of me was like, are you kidding me? I need visual balance. I need balance. I kept feeling out of balance because I didn't have the nipples there. Right. So when I got them done, I got actually a little emotional because it brought back color. I felt, okay, they look really normal now. Even though there's no sensation, but they look balanced, and I kept going to that. So, okay, now they're fixed a little bit. They look pretty balanced. They don't perform. They're never going to be what they used to be. Never. So I have to come to terms with that. I have to really, really respect what that means and move on from there and work on the 80% of me that's still in full performance.
Jackie, what would you say you learned about yourself during these challenges? There's a lesson there when you said, okay, I'm choosing a different way of surviving now. I'm getting rid of my business. I'm focusing on myself, listening to my intuition, starting every single day new. Is there anything else that you can share with us that you feel is important?
I realize that I'm really very resilient. And that's a different word than just be really strong, survival mode. I think that when I realize how resilient my body is, my mind can be, it gives me a different sense of power. It's a different sense of power, but a power with respect, a real deep level of respect for what my body and my mind and my spirit can actually handle. If I have to describe it, I didn't realize how resilient I am, how I've been built to be resilient. And now me and that word are real good buddies.
Wow, I love that. That is so beautiful. That is
Thank
so
you.
beautiful. And so, how would you say that your life changed, besides the fact that thankfully you're here and you healed, right? So that's a big one.
Amen.
Amen. Yes, amen. But how would you say that other parts of your life changed too as a result of these challenges and the decisions you had to make? And
I think that when I hear you asking me the question, I can immediately go back. Like it's like a wheel is turning in my mind. And I also, as I've gotten older, I'm 57 now. I'll be 58 in October. Age plays a factor. I'm not 25 anymore. I do think about how delicate life is. I'm here today, gone tomorrow type of thing. You never know. Cancer doesn't discriminate. So it didn't take me, but maybe I don't know what will. In the meantime, I'm going to try to keep myself as healthy as possible. But I think part of it is also that as I've gotten older and I realize how delicate life is and how valuable the most important thing that we have is time. And that's the only thing that really makes or breaks anything, is that I want to fulfill my life's cycle. Even here, when I thought this was just a place I rented for a month and did an art event that I actually sold a few pieces of my art, creating the dreams, your life to what it really means, that's important to me. Having a hair salon with an art studio included is something that was just a wishful thinking. But it's actually a reality. And I believe, in manifestations.
mm-hmm.
So I know that there's more for me to do in this element here. My time is limited in the sense of how much of it I can do. But just because when I turn 80 or 85 years old, if I decide that I want to do something else, it's what I'm going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have to honor my life. And why wishful think if you can make it a reality?
Mm-hmm. So would you say that this experience put you on a path that whatever you truly want inside, whatever is close to your heart, you will just take a chance to make it happen? Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
100%. And fearlessly.
I love that. I love that.
I don't worry about failing. There is no such a thing as failing, Ava, like at all. There's no such a thing as failing. And I really wholeheartedly believe that. I believe that you learn with every experience. If things don't come to full fruit, well, maybe you were in the wrong place at the wrong time. Mm-hmm. This happened 2 years later, not 2 years ago. 2 years ago, it was something different, but 2 years later, it's become something what it's supposed to be. Mm. So what did I learn about that? I learned there's so many things that I learned to make the experience more real. But don't be afraid to fail, because there is no such a thing as failure. You're going to learn more to be where you need to be. There's always a destination. We're all going in the same direction at different wavelengths. And we all have creative gifts to share. You're a singer, you're a writer, you are an author. I have your book here and I love it because I get to have that spiritual energy here with me. I really believe that if you can think it, if that idea pops into your brain, then it being a reality is very much so.
Yeah. I mean, everything starts there, right? Everything starts with an inspiration and a muse before it shapes up in a physical reality. I just want to kind of like have a little bit more of a picture of how you think that your life changed after having this experience. You talked about your approach and things that inspire you and motivate you. How do you feel that this experience changed your relationships, your friendships, your maybe even marriage, like in relationships in general?
I think that I really value relationships that nurture.
Mm.
I know that I can be a people pleaser sometimes for lack insecurities. I don't like people being upset, so I just rather get things done and you'll be happy and you can walk away kind of thing, right? I'm not too fond of that anymore. I've learned that, I treat people with the same level of respect that I would want in return. Matter of fact, I was talking about that with my first client this morning, that it shouldn't be hard to have relationships with people if what you're giving is what you would give to yourself.
Mm.
So if I treat you with
Can you just
respect and
repeat that again?
kindness,
I'm sorry. Can you just
it
repeat that again?
shouldn't be hard. It shouldn't be hard to develop relationships with people if you're giving to them what you would give to yourself.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
So
It's what you're saying is that what I give to others is what I give to myself. It's that you're not saying that what I give to others is what I'm expecting from others, but you're choosing nurturing relationships because you're giving
right,
it to yourself. So if
that
it's
is
not
correct.
nurturing, it cannot be around you
It
because you
can't
are
be.
nurturing to yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't want to be in relationships that don't balance you out. And that's okay. We all have, people that, can drain you a little bit or just are more needier than others. And there's those relationships that are like flawless. Like I didn't see you for how many years, Ava? And here we are talking about my boobs. Like I know, like I'm about to see you for lunch in a minute, right?
Yeah. We haven't talked for like 12, 13 years, I feel like.
Yes,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
the level of comfort. But again, I'm very comfortable with you. It's always been respectful.
Same.
We share so much in so many things that we can share with each other, that no judgment by no
Yeah.
means. If anything, there's
Values.
encouragement, right?
Yeah.
So I think that as I've gotten older, the experience that I had taught me to trust myself. I trust myself, Ava.
I
I trust
love that. Yeah.
so I trust me. When people say, "Are you crazy opening up a business at your age this time again?" You know what? I trust it. I'll be fine. I trust my talents. I'm not the best hairdresser, but I'm one of the best. I think I fit in the crew. I do the best that I can. But most importantly is this journey. I trust me.
Yeah, so I just had this intuitive quote came to me the other day, and it was about the spiritual journey. It says, the most important part of living by our soul is expression, not the result. It's what you're doing. What I see you doing is really just expressing your soul in every area of your life. So you had this idea that you wanted to have a studio, hair salon, where you're painting and you're doing what you love. You're a designer. You are creating every single day, and it doesn't matter if it's on somebody's hair or on
the canvas.
On the canvas, exactly. So that's just beautiful.
I'm honoring that in me, Ava, because I also, I love God. I believe in God very, very much. I really do. I really do. And I believe that I was created in the image of, right? Whatever this thing is, decided that I should be a woman. I should be on this planet for starting this date. And I don't know what the expiration date will be, but whatever. I believe that I was given certain talents. And I believe that I'm supposed to be sharing them and using them. By not doing it, you dishonor not just yourself, but the higher, what decided to say you are going to be designed specifically like this because you are perfect.
Yeah.
So
yes.
I love
Amen to
love
that.
to paint. Right. I love to paint. I happen to be very talented, and I never really gave myself that opportunity, that platform, because how can I call myself a painter? I don't care. I get a canvas and I'm going to paint. And you know what? I don't know. I birthed many children in here. These little kids are my paintings. For me, they mean something when someone says, "Oh my God, Jackie, what does this mean to you? I see this." To me, that's what I was supposed to do. I don't have to worry about what type of paint I use or what, medium I do. I don't have to worry about none of that. I just have to paint and get it out there and honor it, because I was given a talent. Like you have your talent, you have to honor it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I have four closing questions.
Okay.
The first one is, what are you the most proud of?
Oh, well, immediately comes to my sons.
And I love that. But when it comes to your
Mm.
journey, this healing journey, and everything that you conquered um in the past, 10 years.
Oh, what I'm really proud that of my resilience. I have to say, like, I'm going to go
Resilience.
right back to that word. You know, I'm really proud of that. I'm proud of how despite what could be things that keep me from moving forward, I push on. I
Mm.
push forward.
I love it. I love it. What advice would you give to your past self who's struggling, who's going through the difficult time now that you are on the other side?
Don't fear getting help. I'm from a Hispanic background. My parents are Dominican. Talking about therapy meant that you were crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very, very supportive of people getting the help that they need with the
Mm-hmm.
proper person. I speak to Michael, my therapist, every Friday morning for 30 minutes, Monday morning now. And sometimes he literally puts my brain in order because my brain doesn't function like everyone else's or like men. So I've also have learned to say, okay, I got a special brain. I have a special brain and I respect it and I'm going to nurture it to the best of its ability. I can't do it all by myself.
I love
But
that. So really accept
don't,
yourself for who you
yeah,
are and what you need, and go
get
and
the
get the
help
help
that
that
you
you need.
need. Talk to someone that makes you set your vibration feels in alignment and safe.
I love that. Thank you. What is the biggest lesson that you have learned on this journey?
Don't give up. Keep dreaming till I can't dream no more.
Mm-hmm. You have a lot to share with us,
Oh,
so
I got a lot to share. I got some rocking chairs I need to sit, roll, and
what advice would you give to someone who is going through the thick of it right now, who is going through the journey and they're at the beginning of what you have gone through?
honor every emotional feeling. Honor them
Mm-hmm.
all. Honor them all. Um, because there's not going to be just one emotion guiding this journey. It's a journey that you experience by yourself. As many support, like as many people that you have supporting you, it's a very lonely journey. I had a very good friend of mine tell me that, and that stayed with me because it's true. There's a lot of internal
Mm-hmm.
conversations being had that are not being shared with anyone. Honor every single emotion. When you're feeling sad, be sad. When you're feeling strong, be strong. When you want to go for that walk, go for that walk. When you want to stay in bed and just curl up like a little feet, do that. Honor, honor, honor yourself, 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 all of it. Honor
Yeah.
yourself.
Coming from my own experience, I feel like that's what healing is, learning how to accept all of ourselves.
Yeah,
But that
yeah.
comes with a lot of changes because acceptance comes with different choices, beliefs, behaviors, relationships. That's the hard part about the journey. Those changes that are happening within a person flex on that side. But then eventually it just becomes, where you are right now, which is honoring who you are, honoring the inner voice, the guidance, the creativity, opening your heart up to yourself. And that's beautiful. That's a beautiful,
And you know
beautiful
what,
advice.
Ava? It's a muscle that needs to be exercised.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes, as women, culture, whatever it is, sometimes these muscles of expression or, don't say that, don't complain, you want to be strong. You know what? Fling that thing like the dead raccoon that I threw up from the wig. When you honor, when you honor yourself during that moment of transition, because you're transitioning, something's happening for sure. But no one can give you a definite, this is what's going to happen. This is how it's going to go. And this is what it's going to be. Like parenting, your kid is your own report card. Forget that. There's no
Mm-hmm.
manual here.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Yeah.
and I would say the same thing goes with that, but, it's a muscle, and having coaches, for example, what helps you with that is that for a very limited time. It's not permanent, although you do develop relationships with your coaches. Eventually you become friends. They can help you learn to exercise those muscles.
Yes.
So that
And
then
remind
when
you as well.
remind you that, hey, remember, it's not what cancer took from you. We're going to focus on the 80% of you that's still left. We're going to exercise those muscles.
Yeah, it's an accountability. It helps you stay on the direction, understanding what you need and what you desire, and creating a plan, trusting yourself, all of that. So I want you to tell the listeners a little bit about a couple of things that you're working on. I know that you're working with some women who are in the thick of it. Can you please tell the audience about this? And maybe if you want to share some information about how they could find you if somebody needs you.
Sure. Well, I'm here at my salon studios in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. I'm here Tuesday through Saturdays, and I do definitely take care of some clients that may need to have their hair shaven off, or wigs, and how to style them and so forth. I've been a hairdresser for over 30 years. And in 2012, I became a health coach, which incorporated cancer coaching, because my focus and my goal is to have a wellness salon. It's beauty with a purpose. So I'm doing this time around, I've decided to just be a vegan hair salon. And what I mean by that is that all my hair products are vegan, non-toxic as possible. They're from Denmark, which is where I found this beautiful line. And I loved their story, which resonated with mine. So I'm very proud of it. And I've had wonderful success so far with the line itself. Being a vegan salon puts me in a different category. So I don't just offer a vegan service. I'm totally vegan. So if the product that I have doesn't offer a particular hair color, then I'm just not the salon for you. But my goal is to always have the integrity of the hair and not inhale so many toxins myself.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm not doing hair, I paint. I try to express myself through my canvases and share that with people. In 2020, I created a platform called Pink Ribbons Talk, and that was my momentum for helping women. That's when I became a cancer coach. The information came to me, and I said, let me look into this. And from Roswell Comprehensive Center in Boston, I became a cancer coach, and I decided to create a platform for women to talk about their beauty and wellness needs as a cancer survivor. So meaning, once you're in your survival mode, now you're ready to rock and roll. What are we doing? What are the dreams? What's that you want to do? So some of my women that I've coached have decided to, they're going to move and retire. One of them became a photographer. Beautiful, beautiful photography. One day I'll be able to share a little more of that. And my goal was to just create a platform for women that are taking that journey of evolution and now saying, you know what? It's time for me to live it up. I want a hair salon with art studio together. Well, then let's go ahead and make it happen. So I'm there to help and encourage, and it's beauty with a purpose. I've formed an LLC, but I'm trying to convert it now into a non-for-profit because I want to be able to offer women a lot of opportunities, like artistic, creative opportunities. So that's something I'm working on right now. And they can reach me by calling me here at the salon. I can share that information with you. It's the name is J Cruz Studios. It's 347-335-0839. And I'd be happy to speak with anyone that needs to just talk to someone. If this podcast resonates with you, welcome aboard.
Yay. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I'll make
You're
sure
welcome.
that your information and whatever information you want to share, it's going to be listed somewhere in the podcast description. This podcast is available on Spotify, Apple, and then also they are going to have the video up on YouTube. So the listeners and people who are viewing the podcast are going to be able to get the information about you there for sure.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much for sharing your story, this beautiful story. I'm so honored. And I have to say, I just love seeing you shine.
Thank you.
The way you talk about your experience and where you are right now, you were really in the thick of it, and you pulled through, and it completely aligned you to be who you want to be and be where you want to be. So I want to celebrate you. I think it's so beautiful, and I want to thank you so much for taking this time and sharing your story with us.
Thank you for having me. This was beautiful. I look forward to many more.
Yay, thanks.
Thank you, my sweetheart.